Start. CEDU 2021, Unit 01. 001 Psychological and social well-being of children must both be ensured for them to have a healthy childhood. 002 Globally, and in most countries, the number of deaths from air pollution has increased. 003 Many people around the world give blood donations every year. This blood is used in blood transfusions or made into medication. 004 These days mathematics is important in many different types of jobs, including those related to engineering, business, science, medicine and more. 005 At the height of the last glacial period, the sea level was so low that dry land joined the continents that are separate today. 006 When we narrate our first-hand experiences, we tend to modify what happened in order to make the story more enjoyable for the listeners. 2021, Unit 02. 007 To read critically means to read analytically, which means to question and think about the written material in front of you. 008 To pay a lot of money for something can also be expressed as something costs an arm and a leg. Costs an arm and a leg. 009 When people are depressed, recalling their problems makes things worse. 010 Taking unscheduled breaks is an easy way to fall into the procrastination trap. 2021, Unit 03. 011 That climate change will get worse is obvious throughout the world. 012 Children would be comfortable with a good caretaker. It doesn't matter in the long run whether that's a parent, nanny, or daycare. 013 In the province of the mind, what one believes to be true either is true or becomes true. 014 Who built the pyramids is a question that has been asked for millennia. 015 How much more you learn when you pause, quiet your mind, and listen to what others say is amazing. 016 Whatever does not destroy me makes me stronger. 2021, Unit 04. 017 Some books useful for students preparing for the test were procured in the school library. 018 A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. 019 People who are often in a hurry imagine they are energetic, when in most cases they are simply inefficient. 020 Consumption of fossil fuels at an alarming rate can lead to global warming, which can further result in melting of polar ice caps and an increase in sea levels. 021 Devoting our time and energy to finding what's important to us eventually will bring about much more effective allocation of our spiritual resource. 022 An important way to improve your well-being and manage relationships is learning to deal with conflict in a positive and constructive way, without excessive stress. 023 What may be normal behavior in one culture functions as inappropriate or even rude behavior in another. 024 Whoever has the device that is causing the interruption in class must silence it immediately. 025 When you meet a complete stranger at a party, to introduce yourself and try to be interested in the other person breaks the ice. 026 Choosing natural cleaning products like vinegar and baking soda over commercial cleaning agents can reduce exposure to toxic chemicals. 2021, Unit 05. 027 Processed foods cause younger people to have different sensations of taste from the older generation. 028 A more expensive tennis racket will not make it possible for you to be a better player. 029 Expressing your feelings when you're sad or stressed out will make you feel better than holding them back. 030 Reading allows us to travel to times, places, and situations that we might not otherwise have a chance to experience in reality. 031 The past 50 years have seen the rapid development of the nation's economy. 50. 2021, Unit 06 to V/Ving. 032 It is necessary for people entering the laboratory to wear protective clothing. 033 I appreciate your counseling me about my worries and giving me some good advice. 034 Recess should be a time for students to have a break between classes, to release energy on their own terms, and socialize with their friends. 035 The opportunity for the native community to sell their artworks to tourists or perform folk dances for them may encourage local artists to preserve traditional art forms. 036 Some developed nations are infamous for their industrial facilities creating an unreasonable measure of waste and dumping in the seas. 037 This recording studio is soundproof, so there is no chance of somebody in the next room hearing any sound from here. 2021, Unit 07 It. 038 Leadership is an active practice, which gets refined in motion. It is a skill that is sharpened with every experience, interaction, and decision. 039 It is an undeniable fact that the primary source of novelty lies in the recombination of information within the individual brain. 040 During a famine, it's the lack of proteins and the essential amino acids, not the lack of calories, that is the ultimate cause of death. 041 Nonverbal communication is not a substitute for verbal communication. It is a supplement that enhances the richness of the content of the message. 042 It is a common misconception that good writing is merely the production of a written article, free of grammar and spelling errors. 043 While your ears pick up the sound, it is your brain that does the hard work of processing and making sense of it all. 2021, Unit 08 to V/Ving I. 044 Her family did not approve when she decided to become an artist, but she bravely took the steps to make art her career. 045 Healthcare workers should use plain language with words that patients can understand and avoid using medical and technical jargon. 046 Don't choose to waste your life on guilt about the past or concern for the future. 047 Team sports such as basketball and soccer provide an opportunity for students to enjoy working and competing together as a team. 048 Consider talking to a counselor if you are feeling depressed, anxious, or so preoccupied with a problem that you feel it is hard to enjoy life. 049 We don't like to say no, and people don't like to hear it. However, we should not postpone delivering bad news, because a quick response is almost always appreciated in rejection. 2021, Unit 09 to V/Ving 2. 050 Remember to keep your thoughts positive, for your thoughts will become your life. 051 I remember staying at the Palm Beach Hotel, located in South Florida, during my last vacation. 052 Don't forget to say thank you to those who help you. 053 Don't forget promising to get back home early in the evening. 054 We regret to inform you that the shipment will be delayed. 055 When offered a new opportunity or challenge, you are much less likely to regret accepting it and more likely to regret turning it down. 056 When you try to combat stress with food, you'll want more and more. 057 If you want to do some serious thinking, you'd better disconnect the internet and phone and try spending 24 hours in absolute solitude. 24. 058 If you are in debt, you should stop buying unnecessary things. 2021, Unit 10. 059 More people are realizing that music videos can bring out the color of the singers and their songs. 060 The government said it's going to help small businesses financially that didn't know they were eligible for assistance last year. 061 When you tell people you need help, they will give you a hand. 062 People who change do not question whether change is possible. 063 For more than a century, psychoanalysts have wondered if dreams are a reflection of upcoming realities. 064 Ask yourself when you learned the most. I guarantee it was when you felt at risk. 065 While transportation infrastructure may shape where we travel today, in the early eras of travel, it determined whether people could travel or not. 066 People forget how fast you did a job but remember how well you did it. 067 Memorizing the meaning of words is much easier if you wonder what they mean and how they are used in a sentence. 068 We typically look for things that confirm our existing beliefs and ignore information that contradicts what we already think. 069 You can choose whatever you want, at any time, and once you choose it, you have to take responsibility for it. 2021, Unit 11. 070 Green marketing and environmentally conscious communications can play a role in building a positive image for the company. 071 Do what you can with what you've got where you are. 072 He gave up the idea of making a living as a lawyer in order to devote himself to acting and thus demonstrated his strong commitment to films and plays. 073 The way that we behave in a given situation is often influenced by how important one value is to us relative to others. 2021, Unit 12. 074 Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. 075 Leadership is getting someone to do what they don't want to do, to achieve what they want to achieve. 076 One thing most language learning experts can agree on is that language is best learned through regular exposure. 077 After a car accident, one of the questions the police ask is whether the driver was using a cell phone while driving. 078 The present is what slips by us while we're pondering the past and worrying about the future. 079 Until the patient recovers from the surgery, all you have to do is to wait and see. 080 The first thing a new mayor wants to do is make the city a tourist attraction that many people visit. 081 You cannot do everything at once, but what you can do is write down everything that needs to be done in a sensible order and work your way through it. 082 It took me several days to read this book because I kept crying. 083 When we choose to concentrate on one thing, other things go unnoticed and unattended. 2021, Unit 13. 084 Painters cannot expect viewers to appreciate their work with exactly the same perceptions and emotions that went into their creation. 085 Diplomatic discussions were planned to persuade the rival nations to return to the negotiating table. 086 Volcanic activity caused an island in the northern oceans to sink completely beneath the waves, and the survivors had to find shelter elsewhere. 087 Experiences that marvelous thing that enables you to recognize a mistake when you make it again. 088 One easy way to start with teaching kids responsibility is by having them clean up their own stuff, such as their toys or laundry. 089 I heard the bell ring and saw everyone pour into the halls. 090 Drinking water about half an hour before each meal can make you automatically eat fewer calories. 30. 091 Some people just ooze happiness, they always seem to be smiling and having fun and let negative emotions and experiences roll off their backs. 092 Treat people as if they were what they ought to be and you help them become what they are capable of being. 093 The mayor had the recent bank heist properly investigated by the police. 094 When the kitten saw her face reflected in the mirror, she immediately jumped on it. 095 The superstar kept her head hidden underneath her hat and a pair of sunglasses as she chatted on her mobile phone. 2021, Unit 14 SV. 096 Humans have a strong preference for immediate reward over delayed reward. 097 There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Present. 098 The US is a few generations away from slavery, racism is still ongoing. 099 It's been so long since we talked that I can feel the distance between us. 100 I felt a fool when I dropped my phone from the building while taking a selfie. 101 The biggest tomato fight festival, La Tomatina, happens each year in Spain, involving some 40,000 people throwing 150,000 tomatoes at each other. 415. 2021, Unit 15 SV. 102 If you don't have the power to change yourself, then nothing will change around you. 103 A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. 104 When we get closer to people, their joy feels like our joy and their pain feels like our pain. 105 Repetitive training makes you more comfortable because confidence grows over time. 106 People behave in a different way in a big crowd than they do when they are alone or with a smaller group. 107 Time is of the essence. Live as though life is short, because it is. 2021, Unit 16 SVO. 108 A message's persuasiveness concerns the credibility of the sender of the message. 109 Advertisements change people's thinking by using language which appeals to emotions. 110 We're not perfect. But that doesn't mean we can lay some of our baggage on someone else. 111 Overconfidence can leave students with mistaken impressions that they are fully prepared for tests and no longer need to study. 112 Children's drawings lack the expression of depth, and the size of an object in a drawing reveals its significance in a child's mind. 113 We borrow environmental capital from future generations with no intention or prospect of repaying it. 114 While many of us perceive insects as harmful pests, in reality, humankind might cease to exist without their service of pollination. 2021, Unit 17 SV+. 115 Many businesses send future customers free gifts or samples in order to promote their products. 116 If all sides of a rectangle have the same length, we call it a square. 117 The friendly owner of the restaurant made us a nice dinner despite the very late hour. 118 Confronting your fears, paradoxically, makes you a far happier and more productive person. 119 He had some trouble finding a book he wanted, so a librarian found him the book. 120 I always found him a sincere person who would stick by his word and always do his work. 121 Roles are like a fence. They allow us a certain amount of freedom, but that freedom doesn't go very far. 122 His calm determination won him the respect of his teammates who elected him captain. 123 The government considered the airwaves such an integral part of our democracy that politicians decided the public should own and control them. 2021, Unit 18 SVO to V. 124 A startup company can lack the resources to compete in areas such as product development and advertising. 125 These days, law enforcement agencies like the FBI use various forms of digital technology to catch and prosecute criminals. FBI. 126 Gap years allow newly graduated high school students to expand their educational experience outside of a classroom setting, before starting college. 127 The International Space Station, ISS, provides valuable opportunities to test spacecraft systems and equipment for future missions. ISS. 128 Navigation systems are tracking the cell phones of other users to see how quickly those cell phones move through traffic. 129 I strongly encourage you to find a place to think and to discipline yourself to pause because time alone has the potential to change your life. 2021, Unit 19 SV plus Ving. 130 The gravitational pull of Jupiter grabs asteroids passing the planet and pulls them to its surface. 131 When you notice yourself thinking of something negative, switch it around to what you are grateful for about the situation. 132 The atomic symbol, such as O for oxygen, means the letter representing each element on the periodic table. O. 133 Once you get people laughing, they're listening, and you can tell them almost anything. 2021, Unit 20. 134 Not only does a companion animal provide company, but it has to be fed, exercised, and cleaned. Owners feel needed by their companion animals. 135 Little did the writer, the director, and the producer know that the drama would become a major success. 136 Understanding doesn't create use, only when you can instantly recall what you understand and practice using your remembered understanding do you achieve mastery. 137 With great power comes great responsibility. 138 When the tree's leaves die, so does its ability to produce food through photosynthesis. 139 Neither can you hug yourself nor can you cry on your own shoulder. Life is all about sharing and communicating. 2021, Unit 21. 140 Faint grew the shape of the tall building in heavy fog. 141 The glow of one warm thought is to me worth more than money. 142 Certain personality characteristics, such as expecting the best from life, make some people, as their stressors occur, more resistant to distress. 143 Fundamental to most moral approaches is the idea that human life has a special dignity and value that is worth preserving even at the expense of self-interest. 144 So powerful is the sense of obligation to return a favor that it affects our daily lives very much. 145 A dull, long rainy season it has been, different from the year before. It gets humid easily, and it's hard to see the sunshine. 146 We should attempt to become within our limitations the best we can be. 147 The presence of peers makes adolescents, more than adults, according to various studies, more likely to take risks. 2021, Unit 22. 148 One thing my father left to me, and it was more valuable than a fortune, his diary. 149 What one has not experienced, one will never understand in print. 150 Those books which have made a lasting contribution to humans' quest for truth, we call great books. 151 Due to the time limit, you have to know when and how to start solving each question in the test. When and how to stop you also have to know. 152 Hard work people can put up with, as long as there are good results. 153 College graduates are educated to read with understanding and appreciation books which otherwise they could not so read. Equals. 154 Laboratory tools make easier the job of scientists and their experiments. 155 We must create and maintain against transnational corporations and advertisers a non-commercial public media system. 156 Nearly every advance in molecular genetics makes possible some new tests for finding microscopic tumors. 157 Motivation is important for good studying. When you are motivated, you will find it simple to stay focused over a period of time. 158 Few people think it likely that they may be mistaken. 159 Although keeping your aims to yourself helps ease the fear of failure, it also makes it easy to avoid changing your life and drift back into old habits. 2021, Unit 23. 160 Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world, indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. 161 Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. 162 Most jazz musicians can read music but often don't bother, and their art is much involved with improvisation. 163 I believe that every right implies a responsibility, every opportunity implies an obligation, every possession, a duty. 164 In general, people who are confident in cooking are more likely to enjoy various foods than those who are not. 165 Do your best to complete a task on time even when it is impossible to. 166. This is a safety announcement. Due to today's wet weather, please take extra care while on the platform. Surfaces may be slippery. 167. Words are easily identified when part of a conversation but harder to recognize if presented alone. 2021, Unit 24. 168. A good name, like goodwill, is got by many actions and lost by one. 169. Writing English, not only reading it, helps you become a fluent speaker of the language. 170. Robots can do work which, while not physically dangerous, is so repetitious and dull that it debases any human mind that must engage in it for long periods of time. 171. If you go in for an argument, take care of your temper. Your logic, if any, will take care of itself. 172. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. 2021, Unit 25. 173. The term blue chip comes from the color of the poker chip with the highest value, blue. 174. Attitude is your psychological disposition, a personal predetermination not to let anything or anyone take control of your life or manipulate your mood. 175. There are two ways of spreading light, to be the candle or to be the mirror that reflects it. 176. The fear of saying something stupid which stupid people never have has censored far more good ideas than bad ones. 177. Genetic diversity, or the range of different inherited traits among individuals within species, provides the basis for evolution. 178. You shouldn't miss the fact that first impressions do not have a lasting effect on relationships between people. 179. The question whether science is to be praised or blamed depends upon the use that is made of the technique. 2021, Unit 26. 180. Brainy Smurf in the animated movie The Smurfs wears glasses and often lectures the rest of the Smurfs without really knowing what he is talking about. 181. The reason oil floats on water is that it is less dense than water. 182. Reconstruction of the bridge finally begins next weekend and runs through April. 4. 183. The secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his opportunity when it comes. 184. She is attending a dinner party hosted by her friend this evening. 2021, Unit 27. 185. Research has recently found that lavender is among the best smells to help lower anxiety and induce sleep. 186. Time travel has been a common plot device in science fiction since the late 19th century. 187. I have been clearing out my attic all evening and just discovered my old album. 188. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. 189. Some birds, such as ostriches and penguins, have lost their ability to fly, so their body structure is specialized for running or swimming today. 2021, Unit 28. 190. Supernovas may appear to be stars which have just exploded, but in actuality they had already exploded millions of years before. 191. When he returned to his country after a 20-year absence, he realized that everything had changed completely. 192. If China's coal use continues to increase as predicted, by 2040 China will have consumed more than a third of global reserves. 204031. 193. Starting a clothing store had always been one of my dreams, but I'd never told anyone about it. 194. They had put plaster on the wall for fire resistance, and it prevented the building from burning down when there was a fire. 195. The marathoner was out of breath when he reached the finish line because he had been running for 2 hours straight. 196. The relationships people share with siblings are often the longest lasting ones they will ever have experienced. 197. When the rescued mountaineers get back to the base camp, they'll have been in the snowstorm for 2 days. 198. All the leaves will have fallen before you come here, so you won't be able to see the leaves turning red. 2021, Unit 29. 199. People would worry less about what others think of them if they only realized how seldom they do. 200. There are 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone. If only 1 out of a million of those stars had intelligent life, there would be literally millions of civilizations out there. 4. 201. If I should win the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone other than my family. 202. Were life easy, then it would be boring. 203. Should you experience any physical abnormality with this medicine, discontinue use and consult a physician. 204. Children wish they were grown ups who do anything they want. Grown ups wish they were children with no responsibilities. 205 The philosopher wished more young people made time for thinking about the meaning of life. 206 Most of us spend our lives as if we had another one in the bank. 207 After hearing the announcement of her university acceptance, she felt as though she were in a wonderful dream. 208 Camera phones don't understand privacy, and don't forget either. It's time we developed a new etiquette for the digital age. 2021, Unit 30. 209 They used to say I could have been a professional ballet dancer if I'd had the training. 210 They would have won the shooting game had he succeeded at the last shot. 211 Many people wish they had been born with leadership abilities because we all have dreams to make a difference in this world. 212 I listened to my kids talking about me as a parent, and I learned about things they wished I'd done and said. And I wished that I had done more of those things. 213 He is telling me about the accident as if he had seen it with his own eyes. 214 When we opened the door, everything was all over the place as if a blender had been turned on in the room. 2021, Unit 31 If 215 Without the dark, we would never see the stars. 216 Their silence would have been awkward but for her talkative nature, as she talked enough for all the people. 217 I would not be where I am today if it had not been for his support, advice, and encouragement. 218 The atmosphere plays an important role, otherwise, millions of meteoroids would fall to the Earth. 219 Supposing you visited another planet, your mass would be the same as on Earth, but your weight would be different. 220 Allocated a larger budget, the film could have been much better than it was, but it does provide decent entertainment. 221 To hear him talk about our childhoods, you'd think he was my brother. 222 People say stupid things on the internet but wouldn't dare say those things out loud in public. 223 Intensive reading might have helped the concept to be more easily understood. 2021, Unit 32/224 The game of chess is believed to have originated in northern India around the 6th century. 6. 225 A good book challenges us and changes us, we are never quite the same after having read it. 226 So many people seem to have forgotten what it feels like to have fun or what they should even do if they have time for fun. 227 The gain in self-confidence from having accomplished a tiresome labor is immense. 2021, Unit 33. 228 An intransitive verb is not followed by an object and can never be used in the passive. 229 The mushroom is a popular ingredient in many cuisines throughout the world and it is known as the meat of the vegetable world. 230 The increased demand of books was driven by a huge decrease in the price of books since the invention of the printing press around 1440. 1440. 231 The environmental impact of radioactive waste disposal has not been fully evaluated, and waste management is lacking. 232 Social media is being used to promote companies' products and raise brand awareness. 233 As I was raised in favorable circumstances, I was taken good care of by my parents. 234 Believe it or not, so much attention was paid to making cars faster or lighter in the past that little or no attention was paid to the safety of the driver. 235 It has been said that the love of money is the root of all evil. 236 It is believed that small fish cluster together in order to confuse their predators and thereby protect themselves from harm. 237 We believe that each individual should be given the chance to develop and achieve to the maximum extent possible. 238 Venus is called Earth's twin because Venus and Earth are very similar in size, mass, and composition. 239 Despite all the absurdity of war and genocide, we believe that human beings are rational and are made to seek the truth. 240 We must remember that when traveling is made too easy and comfortable, its spiritual meaning is lost. 241 One importer was recently caught selling 442 tons of Chinese rice as Korean grown to wholesalers and retailers across the nation. 442. 242 More than 260 dolphins were found washed ashore on the coast of Peru. 260. 2021, Unit 34. 243 It is not always enough to be forgiven by others. Sometimes you have to learn to forgive yourself. 244 We should look for the opportunity in every difficulty instead of being paralyzed at the thought of the difficulty in every opportunity. 245 A study of 1,000 American teenagers aged between 12 and 17 years found that 1 in 5 teenagers claimed to have been bullied online. 12171,000. 246 Despite having been built in 802 AD, the temple shines brightly due to several renovations. 802. 2021, Unit 35, I. 247 She can't be hanging around with her friends this late at night. She must be at home sleeping. 248 If you take this pill, it might cure your cold or at least lessen the severity. 249 The brave may not live forever but the cautious do not live at all. 250 You could hardly make a friend in a year, but you could lose one in an hour. 251 When you encounter an unfamiliar word, contextual clues should help you make a guess about the word's meaning. 252 A wise person ought to try to avoid feelings of guilt by avoiding the acts that cause them. 253 Sharing concerns with like-minded people would help you to feel less alone. 254 Familiarity breeds contempt. This proverb suggests that a closer acquaintance with someone will result in a lessening of respect. 2021, Unit 36, 2. 255 The history of candy dates back to ancient peoples who must have snacked on sweet honey straight from beehives. 256 Our backgrounds and circumstances may have influenced who we are, but we are responsible for who we become. 257 Readers of the magazine cannot have failed to notice the eye-catching advertisement in the last issue. 258 The slogan Think Different is grammatically inaccurate, different should have been differently. But Steve Jobs insisted on different, as well as the expression think big. Think different. Different differently. Think big different. 259 He is in an official position, and he should not have made such an imprudent statement. 2021, Unit 37 Should. 260 Animal protection groups insist that the rights of animals should be acknowledged and respected. 261 It is necessary that you exercise frequently in order to be in good shape. 262 In order to speak and write the English language correctly, it is imperative that the fundamental principles of the grammar be mastered. 263 The doctor gave the suggestion that the child not eat too much sugar. 264 It is certainly surprising that such a highly reputable magazine should print such a childish article. 2021, Unit 38. 265 Shampoo and other hair products used to cause trouble for my skin, so I use fragrance-free items. 266 My mentor would often tell me, the difference between a dreamer and a doer is a decision. 267 Organisms cannot help adapting to change in order to survive. 268 There were many volunteers at the disaster and they cannot be praised too highly. 269 What we think we know today may well be wrong tomorrow. 270 You may as well borrow a person's money as his time. 271 I would rather walk with a friend in the dark, than alone in the light. 2021, Unit 39. 272 Similarity in core values and background can be the key to peaceful relationships. 273 We pick our friends not only because they are enjoyable company to spend time with, but because they understand us for who we are. 274 Visualization refers to using images or diagrams to express ideas. It is a tool useful for aiding analysis, exploration, comprehension, and understanding. 275 Doing something meaningful is what we are all ultimately searching for. 276 Parents sacrifice whatever is necessary to spend the maximum amount of time possible with their children. 2021, Unit 40 Ving/P.P. 277 Many aspiring hanbok designers have altered hanbok for everyday wear while still retaining some traditional elements but keeping a distinct modern feel. 278 A closed mind is like a closed book, just a block of wood. 279 Downtown city areas struggling with traffic jams and lack of parking lots are driving the growing popularity of car sharing. 280 A surprising result from the marketing report shows that nearly 2 out of every 3 college students never scan the QR codes found on ads. 32 QR. 281 Stereotypes are characteristics imposed upon groups of people because of their race, nationality, gender, and culture. 2021, Unit 41 I. 282 A man who does not know a foreign language is ignorant of his own. 283 Those who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. 284 The heart of a mother is a deep abyss at the bottom of which you will always find forgiveness. 285 Hygge, a term that comes from Danish, is a mental state of well-being and togetherness. During Hygge, people light candles, drink wine and meet close friends whom they haven't seen in a while. Hyga. 286. A constellation is a group of stars that appear to make a particular pattern in the sky and have a name. 2021, Unit 42-2. 287. Brainstorming is a useful way to let ideas which you didn't know you had come to the surface. 288. I have noticed that fortune cookies say the most obvious things that people may just want to hear about themselves. 289. The adoption of farming was the most fundamental change in human history and led to all that we call civilization and recorded human history. 290. The goal in anger management is to increase the options which you have to express anger in a healthy way. 291. In science, the credit goes to the man who convinces the world, not the man to whom the idea first occurs. 292. Ultimately, the only power to which man should aspire is that which he exercises over himself. 293. When someone you care about is going through a hard time, you can help them by giving them a safe place to share their feelings. 2021, Unit 43. 294. There will be times when you are very busy and other times when it is quieter, so please be prepared to be flexible. 295. Home is the safe place where we can express our feelings and enjoy some of the most meaningful events in our lives. 296. One reason why you can do something is worth 100 reasons why you can't. 100. 297. There are many differences between how grammar is used in written English and how it is used in spoken English. 298. When an actor plays a scene exactly the way a director orders, it isn't acting. It's following instructions. 299. There is a reason that prey animals form foraging groups, and that is increased vigilance. The larger the group of prey animals, the less time the individual animal devotes to vigilance. 2021, Unit 44. What, whoever. 300. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. 301. Whoever gossips to you will gossip about you. 302. What in one era is judged positively, in another can change meaning. What in one locale is considered tasty, in another can be rejected as disgusting. 303. Parenting is not just about you and your kid, it's also about whomever you are parenting your child with. 304. Sharks have been sculpted by evolution and ideally suited for whichever ecosystem they inhabit, from coral reefs to the open ocean. 305. By believing passionately in something that still does not exist, we create it. The non-existent is whatever we have not sufficiently desired. 2021, Unit 45. 306. Unlike lawyers, who utilize information selectively to support their arguments, scientists must include all information even if some of it is unlikely to strengthen their arguments. 307. Globalization has resulted in a global brain drain, which refers to the situation in which countries lose their best educated workers to other countries. 308. The more you like yourself, the less you are like anyone else, which makes you unique. 309. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. 310. The motor of our ingenuity is the question, does it have to be like this, from which arise political reforms, scientific developments, improved relationships, and better books. 311. The origins of contemporary Western thought can be traced back to the golden age of ancient Greece, when Greek thinkers laid the foundations for modern Western politics, philosophy, science, and law. 312. Many universities offer online courses, where students work closely with professors, using state-of-the-art e-learning technology. 2021, Unit 46. 313. You must cite the author whom you are quoting whether you are directly quoting the author or paraphrasing the quote. 314. Newborn babies are immune to many diseases because they have antibodies they received from their mothers, although this immunity only lasts about a year. 315. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you did not do than by the ones you did. 20. 316. The time you should repair the roof is when the sun is shining. 317. Without clear goals, it's easy to get diverted, heading in multiple directions and years later ending up in the place you really never intended. 318. Comfort becomes addictive. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. 2021, Unit 47. Many of plus 319 deadly poisons, foul flavors, and toxins of plants are chemicals, a great many of which are designed to compel other creatures to leave them alone. 320. Social media has given voice and organizational ability to new cyber tribes, some of whom spend their time spreading blame and division across the World Wide Web. 321. Life is a series of experiences, each one of which makes us bigger, even though sometimes it is hard to realize this. 322 Indeed, all the coal, natural gas, and oil we use today is just solar energy from millions of years ago, a very tiny part of which was preserved deep underground. 2021, Unit 48++. 323 The heel is the part of the body that receives the most shock upon impact, especially when walking and running. 324 We can cultivate a relationship of understanding between two individuals by allowing the other person to express themselves freely. 325 The taste of food is detected by sensory cells called taste buds located on top of the tongue. There are 5 basic tastes: sweet, bitter, sour, salty, and savory. 326 New Zealand became the first country in the world to recognize the national rights of women to vote. 327 Fast fashion refers to trendy clothes of low prices designed, created, and sold to consumers as quickly as possible. 328 Methods for carrying out surveys depend on the population and decisions made by the authorities on size of sample. 329 Venus spins in a clockwise direction unlike all other planets including Earth that rotate in a counterclockwise direction. 330 Intellectual humility is admitting there are limits to the knowledge you have of certain issues. People who display intellectual humility are more likely to be receptive to learning from others. 2021, Unit 49++. 331 Second-hand smoke is the smoke inhaled by people who are not themselves smoking but who are near others who are smoking. 332 Most modern people regard technology as an instrument that makes things or people's lives easier and that can bring about contributions to our society. 333 We stand in proper awe of a man whose thoughts move on heights far beyond our range, whose achievements can be measured only by the few who are able to follow his reasoning and challenge his conclusions. 334 Every single person we know who is successful at what they do is successful because they love doing it. 335 Start something you can do with pleasure that requires active body movements for your sound body and mind. 2021, Unit 50/. 336 If technology is created that uses less energy, that should have the same basic effect as increasing the total amount of energy available. 337 The teacher highlighted the importance of working as a team, especially when time was running out to complete an activity. 338 When adapting novels for movies or dramas, some differences are noticeable between the original narrative and the restructured version on screen. 339 Major discussion took place on whether online education can be as effective as physical attendance of school. 340 The thing always happens that you really believe in, and the belief in a thing makes it happen. 341 The time will come when you will doubt everything you stand for, but you must push forward and never stop. 2021, Unit 51 I think. 342 We vote for the person who we think represents our interests best. 343 My father always did what he supposed was morally right and always voted in the way that he believed was right for society as a whole. 344 A plot twist is a shocking or unexpected revelation in a work of fiction, forcing the reader to reconsider what they thought they knew about the story. 345 Knowing they are being observed may cause people to behave differently. Subjects of research may give answers that they feel are more socially desirable than their true feelings. 2021, Unit 52 to V. 346 To think creatively, we must be able to look afresh at what we normally take for granted. 347 Students were relieved to find out that it was the last subject of the lecture. 348 He must be a man of moods to change his appointments all the time. 349 Sometimes in life we have to take chances in order to achieve a goal. It certainly takes courage to take risks. 350 So as to prevent any injuries at night, it is necessary that your children should stay in well-lit areas. 351 The speaker felt somewhat sorry to ask a barrage of questions to his opponent, but that was what these debates were for. 352 I was careless to allow him to see my plan and foolish to think he would not use it. 353 You were considerate to provide help. If it had not been for the help, I wouldn't have been able to create a user-friendly website. 354 Most people in developed countries are expected to live to be about 80, and life expectancies are rising every year. 80. 355 The film starts with a scene where the leading actor awakens to find himself in a dark wood. 356 He was the director of many plays, and both of his kids grew up to be movie stars and TV show celebrities. TV. 357 Doing things quickly actually ends up slowing you down, such as when you rush out of your house only to realize you forgot your keys, phone, or wallet on the kitchen table. 358 Due to forest decline and severe drought, the villagers left their homeland, never to return. 359 E-publishing companies say e-books are more convenient to use than paper books. 360 No country has the potential to produce all commodities at the least cost. Trade is therefore beneficial for countries to ensure the supply of their needs. 2021, Unit 53 to V. 361 After becoming exhausted from work, she recognized that life is too short to do something you don't love. 362 Her success has been so remarkable as to deserve praise. 363 Be wise enough not to be reckless, but brave enough to take great risks. 364 It is apparent that the economy is growing much too slowly to put people back to work. 365 Red meat may be harmful, but I can't go so far as to say it causes cancer. 366 It takes most fruit trees about 7 years before they are mature enough to produce good fruit. 7. 367 Needless to say, theory and practice sometimes diverge. 368 Your interference is, to say the least of it, out of place. 2021, Unit 54. 369 Many people drive even when their destination is within walking distance. 370 I was using this portable photo printer when a paper jam occurred. 371 He was about to leave the room when there was a knocking on the door. 372 While one person hesitates because he feels inferior, another person is busy making mistakes and becoming superior. 373 While we may not be able to control all that happens to us, we can control what happens inside us. 374 As you consider colleges, start by thinking about yourself and then work toward choosing a school that fits you. 375 Cycling is better at increasing fitness than walking as it gets your heart rate up and utilizes all of the major muscle groups. 376 The police told us to leave things at the crime scene as they were. 377 High blood pressure can accelerate brain shrinkage as you age. 378 Strange as it seems, it's okay to feel bad sometimes, because we're supposed to experience a variety of moods. 379 We have natural climate change which has been going on since the world began. 380 People are lonely since they build walls instead of bridges. 2021, Unit 55. 381 During World War, Marie Curie persuaded wealthy people to donate their cars so that mobile X-ray machines could be used to locate bullets in wounded soldiers. 1. X. 382 The digestive system is responsible for breaking down food we eat into smaller components so nutrients can be easily absorbed by the body and the waste discarded. 383 I worked in the new products department, and it was so secret that nobody else in the company knew what we did. 384 The instructor has been speaking so fluently and brilliantly that the 1-hour lecture seems more like a quarter of an hour. 15. 385 Satellites circling the Earth now have such powerful cameras that they can be used to spy on individual people on the Earth's surface. 386 Fortunately for us, we had bought the house at a low period and sold it at a higher price, so that we got a profit out of the deal. 387 If a man is proud of his wealth, he should not be praised until it is known how he employs it. 388 In his last years, Beethoven created his 9th Symphony, one of the best-known works in classical music, even though he couldn't hear his own music. 9. 389 Although human brains only account for 2% of typical body weight, they use up to 20% of metabolic energy. 220. 2021, Unit 56. 390 There is an expiry date on blaming your parents for steering you in the wrong direction. The moment you are old enough to take the wheel, responsibility lies with you. 391 By the time he was 11 or 12, the young virtuoso possessed one of the greatest techniques of all time. 1112. 392 I find television very educating. Every time somebody turns on the set, I go into the other room and read a book. 393 Seeing that the amount of money involved is huge, it is not surprising that top-selling beverages have advertising budgets in excess of $1 billion. 10. 394 I thought the building felt very cold in that there were only walls and doors, no decorations. 395 Now that the exam is over, you are eager to find out how well you did, and the next stressful part of the exam begins, waiting. 396 All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered, the point is to discover them. 397 The old city, destroyed by the bombing during World War II, was rebuilt the way it used to be. 2. 398 is an exception. Private information can be accessed in case there is an official legal request. 2021, Unit 57. 399 No sooner had the pianist finished his performance than the audience gave him a big hand. 400 He had hardly arrived at the theater when the movie started to play. 401 Treat everyone with politeness, even those who are rude to you, not because they are nice, but because you are. 402 Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. 403 Science is facts. Just as houses are made of stones, so is science made of facts, but a pile of stones is not a house and a collection of facts is not necessarily science. 404 Sharks continue to produce new teeth as long as they are alive, which is why shark teeth can often be found washed onto beaches. 405 It doesn't matter if the guy is perfect or the girl is perfect, as long as they are perfect for each other. 406 Research points out it will not be long before many countries lack the younger workforce they need to compete internationally. 407 There are many different paths to happiness and success. Just because someone isn't following yours, it doesn't mean they've gotten lost. 408 Unless you are trying to lose weight to please yourself, it's going to be tough to keep your motivation level high. 409 A lot of times, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. 410 Don't be angry at a friend who told your secret, for neither could you keep it to yourself. 411 Cheetahs are extremely fast, but they can only keep up their top speed for a few minutes before they are too tired to continue running. 412 Whatever the good or bad things in your life are, they are bound to change. 413 Let no man imagine that he has no influence. Whoever he may be, and wherever he may be placed, the man who thinks becomes a light and a power. 414 The whole house vibrates whenever a heavy lorry passes. 415 No matter how far you have gone on a wrong road, turn back. 2021, Unit 58. 416 Hundreds of fish were flashing and catching light from the sun, moving upstream. 417 Opening the door of the bakery, he caught the warm scent of fresh bread. 418 In the information age, we are bombarded with a constant stream of new data, leading to information overload. 419 Selecting plants to grow in your backyard, you should consider the atmosphere of your yard. 421 Of the most satisfactory aspects of using essential oils medicinally and cosmetically is that they can enter and leave our body with great efficiency, leaving no toxins behind. 421 Being a strain on the liver and kidneys, taking in too much protein can be dangerous to the body. 422 Chess is like other sports, wanting to be good, you have to practice and be in good mental and physical shape. 423 Travel while you can, sacrificing other things if necessary to do so. Looking back on their travel adventures as highlights of their lives, most people regret not having traveled more. 2021, Unit 59. 424 It's difficult not to be confident when you realize your loved ones stand behind you, cheering you on. 425 Opening the envelope, I found an invitation to the concert which I'd been wanting to go to. 426 The oppressed, having internalized the image of the oppressor and adopted his guidelines, are fearful of freedom. 427 Cupid was a playful child god who flew around shooting love arrows into people's hearts, making them fall in love. 428 Arriving at the station, they bought special railroad tickets for tourists. 429 The dog and its handler were dispatched to search for drugs, uncover explosives, and track fugitives, having received the proper training. 2021, Unit 60. 430 Not all biases are harmful, but, left unchallenged, some of them can make you prejudiced against certain groups, individuals, and ideas. 431 Previously known as Bombay, the city was renamed Mumbai, which was derived from the goddess Mumba, in 1995. 1995. 432 Once having made a promise, you should keep your word. 433 Unless accompanied by adults, children under 12 aren't allowed to see this film. 12. 434 A man of supreme power, Alexander the Great created one of the largest empires of the ancient world. 435 Unaware of their part in the experiment, the participants were given a placebo drug. 2021, Unit 61. 436 Bats are surprisingly long-lived creatures, some having a life expectancy of around 20 years. 20. 437 The speaker went on and on, the audience getting more and more bored by the minute. 438 The ancient Egyptians excelled in many areas of medical science, one of these being dentistry. 439 When keeping a diary, it is useful to record dates and places carefully. 440 Generally speaking, the truth of history is that it is a story that has been agreed upon. 441 With oil prices rising during the month, many people are looking to public transportation for their daily commute. 442 Our increasing reliance on computer systems makes computer science a growing field, with computer scientists typically sought after and receiving high salaries. 443 Security and privacy concerns have always been a problem on the Internet, with many people ignorant of the potential risks when inputting confidential data, passwords, and personal information. / 444 With a hurricane on the way, it is advisable for all residents to leave the area immediately. 445 When eating with others, remember not to speak with food in your mouth and chew with your mouth closed. 2021, Unit 62. 446 A rumor is as hard to unspread as butter. 447 I think people take me as seriously as I want them to. They take me as seriously as I take myself. 448 Raising a child as adoptive parents is no less noble than being birth parents. 449 We have no more right to consume happiness without producing it than to consume wealth without producing it. 2021, Unit 63. 450 An image has a much greater impact on your brain than words. The nerves from the eye to the brain are 25 times larger than the nerves from the ear to the brain. 25. 451 TV shows were more popular a decade ago than they are now, not because they were better, but because we had fewer alternatives to compete for our screen attention. TV 10, TV. 452 Bystanders sometimes see more than those who play the game. 453 Plenty of light is not less necessary than fresh air for good health. 454 Recording an interview is easier and more thorough, and can be less unnerving to an interviewee than seeing the interviewer scribbling in a notebook. 455 In life, what happens to you isn't as important as what happens in you. 456 The important thing in science is not so much to obtain new facts as to discover new ways of thinking about them. 457 A willingness to pay higher prices isn't due to a desire to acquire better quality so much as to advertise wealth. 458 A person who can speak many languages is not more valuable than a person who can listen in one. 2021, Unit 64. 459 The flower that blooms in adversity is the most beautiful of all. 460 The greatest education in the world is watching the masters at work. 461 Speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you'll ever regret. 462 There is no revenge so complete as forgiveness. 463 There is nothing more dreadful than the habit of doubt. It is a poison that disintegrates friendships and breaks up pleasant relations. 464 The supervisor works as diligently as any member of staff I know in this company. It's no wonder he won the Employee of the Year award. 465 Audiobooks are growing faster than any other format, including print and ebooks, because of the convenience of multitasking. 2021, Unit 65. 466 The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. 467 I think of life as a good book. The further you get into it, the more it begins to make sense. 468 The quicker you know what you want to do, in terms of career, the better. This gives stronger reasons to apply yourself when, for example, everyone else is out there partying. 469 Throughout human history, people have been trying to send information faster and faster and store information in smaller and smaller media. 470 When you're typing with your thumbs, you need to save your effort by communicating with as few letters as possible, so text message symbols were created as shorthand for users. 471 The richest or most powerful man cannot buy even one more minute of time in a day. 1. 2021, Unit 66. 472 Dreams feel real while we're in them. It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange. 473 It was not until the beginning of the last century that motion pictures began to exert their influence on mass culture as we know it today. 474 Although people who belong to the same age group differ in many other ways, most of them do share a set of values and common cultural experiences that they carry throughout life. 475 Take decisive action to restore a sharp edge to your productivity. This is the very reason professionals are required to continuously learn what's new in the profession in order to remain up to date. 476 When in doubt, we need to cross-check the facts of an article ourselves. The simple act of fact-checking prevents misinformation from shaping our thoughts. 477 The liar's punishment is not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. 2021, Unit 67. 478 In many cases stress is caused, not by the event itself, but rather by our response to the event. 479 Keeping a diary means putting down what we have done, what we thought of, or what has happened. Keeping a diary encourages self-reflection. 480 Whether we like it or not, we are controlled by, rather than in control of, natural forces. 481 I have always taught my children that politeness, learning, and order are good things, and that something good is to be desired and developed for its own sake. 482 A good marriage is one which allows for change and growth in both individuals and in the way they express their love. 2021, Unit 68. 483 From the 5th to the 15th century, barbers performed many services, including cutting hair, pulling teeth, and treating medical conditions. 515. 484 You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. 485 Many kinds of animal behavior are the result of habit rather than of instinct, and animal habits, like human customs, can be changed quite rapidly. 486 Both optimists and pessimists contribute to our society. The optimist invents the airplane and the pessimist the parachute. 487 The past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it, or learn from it. 488 Perfection is achieved, not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. 489 Progress is made, not only by the efforts of the rich and powerful, but also by the collective struggles of everyday individuals. 2021, Unit 69. 490 Consider what Mahatma Gandhi said, not all our gold and jewelry could satisfy our hunger and quench our thirst. 491 Apologizing does not always mean that you are wrong and the other person is right. It sometimes means that you value your relationship more than your ego. 492 An artwork is not necessarily followed by a second work that is better. 493 If you cannot decide which of the two things to do, you are likely to get yourself into trouble by doing neither. 494 In fact, consensus rarely comes without some forms of subtle coercion, and the absence of fear in expressing a disagreement is a source of genuine freedom. 495 Trade will not occur unless both parties want what the other party has to offer. 2021, Unit 70. 496 Great opportunities come to all, but many do not know they have met them. The only preparation to take advantage of them is simple fidelity to what each day brings. 497 Not only is the wise use of leisure a mark of a cultured man, but the value he places on privacy in the use of it is another. 498 Courage is the greatest of all the virtues. Because if you don't have courage, you may not have an opportunity to use any of the others. 499 Be as careful of the books you read, as of the company you keep, for your habits and character will be as much influenced by the former as by the latter. 500 Being a parent is such a huge responsibility, but the other side of the coin is that it is one of the most exciting and enjoyable things you can do. CEDU. Good job.